The whole crew saw a whole bunch of silver darting objects, that there might be something archaeological in Antarctica.
I know this sounds crazy. The U.S. government's like, something's going on with Antarctica.
Something seems to be going on this mysterious continent.
Vast remaining territory on the planet that could have such a designation is Antarctica.
Antarctica, with its endless ice sheets and desolate beauty, has always seemed like a world apart. But what if beneath all that ice lies something that could change everything we thought we knew about history? Hidden beneath its frozen surface, Accor to startling reports from a naval officer and a journalist, lies an alien base. During a routine squadron mission, naval flight engineer Brian and his crew witnessed something no one was supposed to see: a fleet of silver objects darting toward a peak before vanishing. Could this be proof of extraterrestrial presence? And why are global powers working so hard to hide it? Join us as we dive into the unsettling claims about alien presence and what a drone captured in Antarctica that no one was supposed to see. Before delving into details, let's rewind to a day in January 2015 when investigative journalist Linda Molton Howe stumbled upon a captivating story about Antarctica, a bombshell discovery. It all started when she received an email from a man named Brian. "I got an email from a retired naval flight engineer," she recalled, and Brian requested that she only refer to him by his first name. He was a retired U.S. naval officer who had served during the 80s and 90s. What Brian revealed in that email was nothing short of shocking. He claimed to have witnessed some incredibly strange things during his 4,000 flight hours over Antarctica. One of the most sensational parts of his story involved a massive, perfectly circular mark on the Antarctic ice sheet that led to a glowing cave entrance below. But the story took an even stranger turn. When Brian tried to investigate this anomaly further, he encountered some major technical issues. All the instruments in his aircraft started to malfunction, forcing him to perform an emergency reboot. After this incident, things got even creepier. Shadowy officials swooped in, seizing records and clamming up with Brian and his crew. This only fueled Linda's curiosity. There might be something archaeological in Antarctica, she thought, feeling that there was more to uncover about Brian's experiences. Then Brian shared more about his past encounters, specifically one that took place in 1987 while he was conducting a resupply mission from McMurdo Station. During this mission, Brian and his crew received a sudden order to retrieve something from a remote Antarctic site. When they arrived, they were met with a chilling sight. The camp was in disarray and completely abandoned, with no sign of human activity anywhere. This eerie encounter marked the beginning of a string of mysterious disappearances at various Antarctic research stations. Adding to the suspense, strange radio signals and cryptic languages emerged before each disappearance, all originating from a source deep beneath the ice. Just when things couldn't get any more bizarre, Brian's co-pilot spotted a large, gleaming craft silently drifting past their cockpit. It looked like something straight out of a science fiction movie. A sleek, white, saucer-shaped object that was over 100 feet in diameter. After witnessing something so extraordinary, Brian knew he had to report it when they returned. But this decision led to serious complications. Agents dressed in black suits, accompanied by high-ranking naval officers, showed up at McMurdo and demanded that Brian retract his report about the mysterious aircraft. Brian stood his ground, refusing to back down despite the threats of severe consequences looming over him. Distress signals and more strange encounters. As the weeks rolled on, Brian immersed himself deeper into the mystery of Antarctica. While exploring a remote part of the icy continent, he stumbled upon something unexpected, a faint distress signal coming from deep within an ice shelf. Following that signal, Brian found himself in front of a peculiar sight, a glowing, circular opening in the ice. What could possibly be hiding behind that entrance? The very thought sent shivers down his spine. Each discovery seemed to heighten the eerie sense of adventure that surrounded his journey. With every new detail, the questions piled up like snowdrifts. What lay beneath that thick layer of ice? Who or what was sending those mysterious distress signals? But then, just when it seemed like he was getting closer to the truth, things took a turn for the worse. As they circled back to investigate further, their aircraft suddenly lost power. All systems went haywire. and panic must have set in for a moment. Fortunately, they managed to restore backup power just in time and safely returned to McMurdo Station. Once back at McMurdo, Brian felt the urge to alert others about the bizarre ice formation he had discovered. So he sent out a cryptic alert, hoping to get more eyes on the situation. What happened next was surprising. A flurry of classified convoys rushed to the site. Suddenly, Brian found himself in the hot seat. A group of DARPA officials came to question him intensely, insisting he keep silent about everything strange that was happening in Antarctica. It was a daunting situation for Brian, and to make matters worse, he started to connect the dots between these strange occurrences and unresolved cases of missing scientists and abandoned research stations from years past. Burdened by a sense of duty and haunted by the thought that his colleagues had faced threats for speaking out, Brian felt an immense weight on his shoulders. He knew he had to do something. Just when he thought he might have to face this battle alone, he found a supportive ally in Linda Molton Howe. Linda was a dedicated investigator, determined to peel back the layers of secrecy and uncover the truth behind what seemed to be an Antarctic cover-up. Gathering evidence. Over several years, Linda Molton Howe dedicated herself to uncovering the truth about the secrets hidden in Antarctica. She dug deep, collecting testimonies from military witnesses who stood by Brian's incredible claims. These brave individuals shared their experiences, revealing sightings of advanced aerial vehicles zipping through the Antarctic skies and unusual icy radio signals that sent chills down their spines. Some even reported encounters with USOs or unidentified submerged objects, darting through the Southern Ocean at speeds that seemed impossible. As if that wasn't intriguing enough, Linda stumbled upon declassified satellite images showcasing temporary dome structures in Antarctica. These structures appeared and disappeared like magic, only to be demolished shortly after they were spotted. It was almost as if someone was trying to hide something important, and that only piqued Linda's curiosity further. But her discoveries didn't stop there. Linda found obituaries of several researchers who specialized in Antarctic studies, all of whom had tragically passed away prematurely after mysterious incidents on the ice. This only added to the eerie atmosphere surrounding Antarctica. What more were these researchers uncovering that put their lives at risk? The silver discs. As Brian continued his flights over the breathtaking expanse of Antarctica, what began as a routine mission soon transformed into a wild science fiction adventure. Just picture it. Vast stretches of ice, towering mountains, and an endless sky all around, creating a stunning backdrop for some of the most bizarre experiences imaginable. Alongside this beautiful scenery, a haunting element crept into Brian's narrative. Researchers were mysteriously disappearing. Their fear of speaking out kept them silent, which only added to the chilling atmosphere surrounding Brian's encounters. But the most perplexing part of Brian's story was his repeated sightings of gleaming silver objects zipping through the Antarctic skies. These objects seemed to defy all known principles of science, leaving Brian and his crew scratching their heads in disbelief. They often performed astonishing maneuvers that no human technology could replicate. During one particular flight over the majestic Queen Maud mountain range, Brian and his crew witnessed something truly astonishing. They spotted shiny silver discs emerging one by one from behind a frozen peak, almost like they were playing a game of hide and seek. These discs floated gracefully in a straight line toward Mount Francais, each one measuring about 30 to 40 yards across. Their surfaces were so smooth that they didn't reflect light, making them appear solid against the brilliant blue sky. What really blew Brian's mind and that of his crew was how these discs moved. They executed synchronized rotations and rapid accelerations, spinning and darting through the air without any visible wings or propulsion systems. After about 15 minutes of witnessing these bizarre aerial maneuvers, the discs disappeared behind Mount Francais, leaving Brian and his crew in complete astonishment. They could hardly believe their eyes. The technology they observed that day hinted at a presence far more advanced than anything we've ever imagined, operating right near Earth's southern pole. It raised a lot of questions. Who were these beings, and what were they doing in such a remote part of the world? The implications of such advanced technology were staggering, and Brian couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of uncovering something monumental. Then came perhaps the most mysterious part of Brian's story: the discovery of a colossal hole in the ice that led to a glowing cave beneath the surface. The cave and mysterious interference. This hole, discovered by Brian, was impossibly smooth, with a cool blue glow that no modern drill could replicate. To make matters stranger, their equipment malfunctioned when they approached, with radar navigation systems and controls all going haywire. Everything functioned normally elsewhere, but within a kilometer of that mysterious ice cave, it was utter chaos. Brian filed a detailed report noting electromagnetic disturbances and the sighting of 3 high-speed objects emerging from the cave. However, the report was confiscated by unknown individuals who demanded silence. This experience deeply unsettled Brian, evoking memories of Admiral Byrd's secret 1947 expedition that allegedly uncovered enigmatic subterranean spaces in Antarctica. Brian even risked solo flights over the anomaly, where electrical interference consistently disrupted his equipment. On his final flight before being barred from the area, Brian observed a silver disc inside the ice cave. The disc then ascended, emitted a blinding light, and caused a complete system failure in his plane. A continuing mystery. When Brian finally regained control of his aircraft, he found himself 13 kilometers away from the ice cave. The strange part: he couldn't remember how the plane had moved during the blackout. It was as if he had lost time, a disorienting experience that would leave anyone feeling uneasy. He made several attempts to return to the cave, but bad weather and a strict no-fly zone thwarted his efforts. Each time he tried, it felt like the universe was saying, "Not today, buddy." Over the years, Brian discreetly connected with other pilots, hoping to find someone who had seen what he had. To his surprise, he discovered that he wasn't alone. Several pilots shared their own stories of spotting silver discs near Antarctic bases. One colleague stationed near the Weddell Sea even reported witnessing metallic pods surfacing and submerging without a splash. Another friend of Brian's managed to obtain satellite thermal images that indicated heat signatures under Wilkes Land. These images suggested that there might be temporary structures or facilities hidden beneath the ice. As Brian pieced these accounts together, they began to form a picture of clandestine operations happening deep below Antarctica's icy surface. Could they be connected to the silver aircraft he had seen performing extraordinary maneuvers over the glaciers? Even now, Brian is haunted by those unsettling memories. The truth, whether it's terrifying or incredible, continues to weigh heavily on his mind. But he isn't alone in his quest for answers. A growing number of veterans who are aware of Antarctica's secrets are pushing for transparency. They believe it's time for the world to know what's really happening down there. As space agencies gear up to establish bases in Antarctica, the questions about what or who might be hiding in its deepest recesses become more urgent. Brian's story could be the key to unlocking some of Antarctica's greatest mysteries, challenging everything we think we know about human history and our place on this remarkably advanced planet. Even if some revelations are unsettling, wisdom suggests that we should embrace the truth. It's better to face reality with open yet discerning minds than to let ignorance and denial shroud what could be significant discoveries. After all, this is all part of our evolutionary journey. Now, it's time for the shocking part, the shocking shutdown. Imagine waking up to the news that the US government suddenly shut down all access to Antarctica. This bizarre turn of events happened after a drone, part of a climate research team, accidentally captured footage of something mysterious buried in the ice. The footage, which has since been classified, reportedly shows a massive disc-shaped object that many are now speculating could be of extraterrestrial origin. The drone, operated by a research team studying climate patterns, stumbled upon the site by sheer chance. Within hours of the footage being sent, military forces were deployed, and the entire continent was placed on lockdown. The US has yet to release an official statement, but several researchers have reported that they were asked to leave the area immediately without explanation. What exactly did the drone capture that led to this swift and secretive response? Could this discovery change everything we thought we knew about Earth's history and the universe? Let us know in the comments now. Let's take a stroll down memory lane and look at some past accounts that mirror Brian's recent experience. Echoes from the past. One striking comparison is with Admiral Richard Byrd, a renowned American polar explorer famous for his air expeditions over the North and South Poles in the 1920s. But it was Byrd's claim in 1947 that he discovered a massive entrance to a hidden underground world during one of his Antarctic expeditions that truly captivated the imagination of the post-war audience. Byrd's tale is nothing short of extraordinary. He described descending for miles over an ice-free terrain filled with towering mountains, lush forests, and even gigantic creatures. But just when it seemed like he was on the verge of discovering something monumental, he was ordered to turn back by threatening disc-shaped aircraft. Upon returning to the United States, Byrd's astonishing account was swiftly suppressed, shrouded in mystery and pressure from authorities. Much like Brian's experience, Byrd found himself caught in a whirlwind of secrecy. After his claims, a rapid campaign was launched to seize records and silence everyone involved in the expedition regarding any unusual observations about Antarctica. Byrd's reputation and credibility made it tough for anyone to dismiss his bizarre claims, which is probably why the orchestrators of the Antarctic cover-up opted for more extreme measures. They knew that mocking or denying his story wouldn't work against such a prominent figure. Interestingly, Byrd underwent documented interrogations under U.S. Navy psychiatric observation. What's more baffling is that he inexplicably retracted his story just weeks later. Suddenly, expedition members who had previously spoken freely about Antarctica became quiet, as if they had been instructed to zip their lips. Byrd himself retreated from public life for the rest of his years, clearly getting the message from the government. Anyone who dared to speak out about Antarctica would face serious repercussions. This only fueled speculation about what officials might be trying to hide. Could it be that Byrd had uncovered truths that challenged our understanding of history? Secrets worth protecting. If Antarctica held anything akin to Byrd's descriptions of a verdant inner world, the implications were staggering. Initially, speculation centered on national security concerns, competition for Antarctic resources with rival superpowers, and maintaining a facade of normalcy. The U.S. Navy likely feared Soviet exploitation of a hidden Antarctic domain against America's vulnerabilities in the Pacific. Scientific institutions dreaded the disclosure of advanced physics and medicine that might have been in play for a century. Political elites were concerned about the social upheaval that might arise from revealing that existing maps of Earth's geology were disturbingly incomplete. The extensive secrecy imposed by several leading governments following Byrd's repressed account suggested interest that transcended conventional nationalistic, scientific, or ideological motivations. Byrd's testimony hinted that Antarctica concealed secrets challenging the very foundations of human knowledge and origins. Declassified FBI documents revealed that federal surveillance extended to every member of Byrd's 1949 expedition until their deaths, indicating that the security threat was directly related to their personal experiences rather than merely geopolitical concerns linked to the Cold War. Byrd's admissions, published during his time on the frozen continent, initially succeeded in capturing public attention with headlines about his discovery of a hidden temperate world brimming with advanced life beyond Earth's known South Pole boundaries. However, this illusion dissipated when Byrd was compelled to retract his statements under confidentiality just weeks later. The government's counteroffensive tarnished his reputation, causing Antarctica to fade from public interest for decades. The cracks in secrecy. Fast forward to today, and the secrets of Antarctica are beginning to leak. Brian's recent testimony of encountering enigmatic silver disks and a radiant ice cavern deep beneath the Antarctic surface echoed Byrd's descriptions of vast, hollowed interior domains filled with strange crafts. Decades of consistent eyewitness accounts, now connected through Linda's investigations, have formed a bridge of credibility that authorities have worked tirelessly to dismantle since the 1940s through media manipulation and intimidation. Unlike Byrd's era, dominated by centralized mass media control and unchecked technocratic authority, Today's internet-driven shift toward data democratization, highlighted by the #Antarctica Truth campaign, spearheaded by Linda's research, is challenging previous taboos surrounding the icy continent's concealed secrets. These mysteries, once considered too far-fetched for established authorities to admit, persist across generations of observers, making them hard to ignore. For years, Antarctica's enigma remained visible yet obscured, reflected in world maps that clearly outlined its contours while leaving its interior shrouded in secrecy. Scientists may eagerly debate the complete mapping of distant planets like Mars, yet they remain notably unaware of the intricate conditions at the Antarctic interface, which separates Earth's crust from the turbulent outer core beneath the ice sheet. Recent scientific research suggests that it is unlikely Amundsen and Scott could have traversed unexplored mountain ranges on their way to the South Pole without those ranges being considered in their planning. In simpler terms, whether due to nuclear influences altering Antarctic conditions or the rise and fall of ancient civilizations, it is possible that advanced species inhabited Antarctica long before human history. Linda Howe's investigations consistently uncovered a coordinated effort to maintain secrecy about Antarctica's profound mysteries, with control shifting from military agencies to archaeological institutions and spanning power centers across continents over the decades. Yet, as disgruntled scientists and disillusioned private contractors began to consolidate their testimonies for public release, the enforced ignorance about our planet's southernmost frontier approached a critical juncture. What followed had the potential to either unite humanity or drive a deeper wedge based on how society responds to these chilling truths. Brian and Linda Howe's efforts were instrumental in uncovering the deepest secrets of Antarctica, revelations that have the potential to fundamentally change our understanding across every core discipline and field of knowledge. As the ice continues to retreat, so too will the shrouded secrecy surrounding our planet's last frontier. However, it is crucial that public interpretation be guided by intellectual courage and discernment, opting for revelation over denial. The opportunity now lies before humanity to advance its collective maturity through wisdom rather than retreat behind walls of instability prompted by newly uncovered realities. Confronting the full truth about Antarctica with open eyes could either elevate or imperil us. We are urged to choose our next steps with caution. Let's take a moment to consider what life is really like for those who live and work in Antarctica. The reality of life in Antarctica. Antarctica, Earth's most frigid and windswept continent, stretches over a staggering 32.5 million square miles, making it an immense icy expanse at the planet's southern tip. Given its vast size, one might expect a bustling population, but in reality, fewer than 10,000 intrepid scientists and researchers call it home, braving its harsh conditions to unravel the mysteries concealed beneath its icy surface. Life for regular people in Antarctica, mostly scientists and support staff, revolves around harsh conditions and isolation. Residing in research stations, they endure extreme cold, with temperatures dropping below -50°F and strong winds. Daily life includes long hours of work managing scientific experiments and maintaining equipment. Social activities are limited, but include communal meals, movies, and hobbies. The isolation can be challenging, with months of darkness during winter, but there's camaraderie among the crew. Supplies are flown in periodically, and contact with the outside world is limited to satellite communication. Despite the harsh environment, residents appreciate the unique experience and the scientific contributions they make. The temperatures here plunge to extreme lows, with average readings around -56.2°F, and the mercury can dip as low as -128.2°F on the coldest days. To put that in perspective, it's colder than the coldest imaginable heart on a frosty February 14th. The winds are equally formidable, whipping across the continent at speeds up to 186 meters per hour, faster than a cheetah's sprint. Coupled with persistent snowstorms that can last for weeks, the environment is incredibly harsh. Yet beneath this icy veneer, Antarctica harbors secrets that challenge our historical narratives. Remarkably, the Eerie race map from the 15,000s depicted Antarctica long before its official discovery in 1820s, leaving historians and scientists puzzled about how such accurate depictions were made. Despite its apparent desolation, Antarctica's isolation has preserved its pristine nature. The Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959, established the continent as a zone for scientific research free from the impacts of human activity. This agreement, supported by 12 nations, ensures that Antarctica remains a sanctuary for high-level research on climate and atmospheric conditions untouched by pollution or urban development. In essence, Antarctica is a frozen realm of incredible challenges and profound mysteries. Its untouched status is safeguarded by international agreements, and the extreme cold has played a vital role in preserving ancient meteorites and microorganisms, offering valuable insights into the early solar system and the resilience of life. Meteorites provide rare materials to study the formation of our solar system, while microfossils and extremophiles found in the ice offer a glimpse into evolutionary survival and adaptation. Antarctica's majestic beauty, from its shimmering blue ice caves to its braided ice rivers, evokes a sense of awe and wonder. Experiencing the continent is both surreal and emotional, a blend of its breathtaking beauty and its remote icy isolation. Despite efforts to capture its essence through art, photography, and literature, the true magic of Antarctica remains elusive. Currently, a major iceberg that had been anchored to the ocean floor for over 30 years has begun to move, highlighting the risks facing this pristine environment. Antarctica is crucial for regulating our climate and weather patterns. Its ice sheets act as a vital water reserve, and its cold waters influence global weather systems. Unfortunately, increasing temperatures are disrupting Antarctica's frigid climate, leading to heightened surface melting and destabilizing some regions. Scientists are raising alarms, cautioning that climate change could destabilize Antarctica's delicate ecosystem and contribute to rising sea levels, with around 250 billion metric tons melting annually. Safeguarding Antarctica's environment is becoming increasingly urgent. Efforts to protect this fragile landscape include establishing conservation zones, enforcing fishing regulations, and monitoring penguins and whales to shield these vulnerable species. The battle for resources. Meanwhile, a geopolitical tug-of-war is unfolding as nations like Russia, China, and the US vie for control over the continent's potentially lucrative resources, including minerals and oil concealed beneath the ice. The Antarctic Treaty of 1959 was designed to maintain peace and cooperation on the continent, but it is now facing pressure as nations become more resource-hungry. The critical question is whether we can preserve Antarctica's pristine state amid climate change, geopolitical tensions, and the lure of resource extraction. There is a growing divide between those advocating for its protection and those eager to exploit its riches, creating a high-stakes battle between environmental conservation and economic gain. Despite these challenges, Antarctica maintains its serene aura. Its unique wildlife has adapted to survive harsh winters, and its ancient mountains have witnessed centuries of change. The mysteries of this icy realm remain vast. Its unusual geography, extreme weather, and the resilience of its life forms continue to intrigue. Antarctica stands as a cryptic treasure trove, possibly holding clues about the limits of life's endurance. As Sir Ernest Shackleton famously noted, there is always more to discover and question about survival in such extreme conditions. Antarctica holds many untold stories, and our exploration of its secrets is just beginning. Antarctica is far more than a mere expanse of ice. It is a stunning display of Earth's raw and unfiltered beauty. This icy wonderland captivates those fortunate enough to experience its grandeur. Imagine vibrant blue ice caves illuminated by frozen microorganisms and glaciers meandering towards the sea in intricate patterns. The visuals of Antarctica, with its braided ice formations, create a lasting impression of wonder. Visitors to the continent often describe it as otherworldly. Despite its isolation and harsh cold, there is a profound beauty in the atmosphere. Majestic tabular icebergs sculpted into surreal forms drift through the currents while snow petrels and Antarctic terns glide gracefully over the landscape, their movements harmonizing with the gentle whispers of the wind. Through various media, cameras, writing, and artwork, people have attempted to capture the enchantment of Antarctica. Iconic visuals like Earthrise, which portrays our planet as a delicate oasis in the cosmos, and documentaries such as March of the Penguins, highlighting the charismatic emperor penguins, have transformed Antarctica into a muse for many artists. Books like The White Darkness and The Worst Journey in the World narrate gripping accounts of polar exploration, illustrating the continent's majestic yet harsh nature during the heroic age of exploration. Today, intrepid travelers embark on Antarctic cruises to encounter wildlife found nowhere else, set against stunning ice and rock formations that defy description. Imagine meeting inquisitive penguins boldly waddling along volcanic shores between frigid waters and ancient frozen cliffs. And let's not overlook the southern lights, Earth's celestial marvel, painting the night sky with vibrant green and violet hues. A mere glimpse of Antarctica's breathtaking beauty unveils a unique dimension of splendor at our planet's poles. As explorer Wally Herbert aptly noted, no place on Earth evokes such intense emotions as the starkly beautiful Antarctic Peninsula. Preserving Antarctica goes beyond environmental concerns. It's about protecting a rare gem at the world's southern tip that inspires human creativity through its sheer magnificence, truly a masterpiece of nature. Beneath its icy facade, Antarctica harbors hidden wonders that resemble an untouched treasure trove awaiting discovery. The Antarctic ice sheet, which contains around 70% of Earth's fresh water, conceals a hidden realm of lakes, rivers, and canyons. This vast ice expanse is the largest on the planet, and our exploration of what lies beneath is still in its early stages. Advanced satellite imagery and ice-penetrating radar have begun to reveal this concealed world. Antarctica's exterior may be stunning, but its icy depths harbor an entire hidden world ripe for exploration. What are your thoughts on these Antarctic mysteries? Share your comments below and see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, fam. If you enjoyed watching, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. While you're still here, check out the next video that pops up on your screen.